Hi guys, this is Breaker and I'm back with phase 1 of my daily. That would be where we just simply take a replay from the casted section of Reddit and, at the uploader's request, go ahead and cast the game. Now, I do want to just check something real quick, make sure I've got my correct setup going. Yes, it appears I do. Upper right hand corner, spawning as our red Protoss, his name is MYsTiCFiEnD, representing the SCA clan, and in the lower left hand corner, spawning as our blue Terran, also representing the SCA clan, it is ColdScars. And it looks like we have our Terran in kind of a bit of a bitter mood. Just a little teeny bit. The map we are on today is, of course, Neo Planet S. Both players kind of fret at the fact that they're doing, kind of poorly. But at the same time, what we have to take notice of is essentially one of these players is going to lose, and it's not going to be pretty for one of them. I'm just going to kind of turn off the chat because I don't want to be too terribly distracted, but, I guess I could do a short monologue on where things are going. Thursday, I was casting the WCG, again in English, and I felt very heartwarmed as the Neo TV casters mentioned my Chinese name. That would be being good, and they said, "Oh, we're cooperating with ESL now." And I do have, I do kind of work with ESL, but it's extremely, extremely, extremely light. The way you could say I work with ESL. I don't have a contract signed or anything like that. The only thing I have from them is a Twitch.tv channel with their name on it, and that's it. So yeah, I do want to go ahead and take notice of the fact that we had, this gas coming down this early. And what I think this means is we could possibly see a Reaper opening, but I don't know just yet. Let's wait and see. There's no Marine in production, so I'm thinking it could be a Reaper. And there it is. Okay. But it was just the fact that as the Chinese casters mentioned my Chinese name, it made me feel a little more heartwarmed. It really did. Simply due to the fact that they know that I wake up at 4:30 a.m. in USA time to do this. It took place on the Taiwan and Korea server because the Chinese server actually hasn't had the privilege of getting Heart of the Swarm yet, and it's amazing how many people don't actually know this yet. They do have to go through some basically government standardized regulations and things of that nature, and sometimes it takes a while to get that kind of approval. Now, the SCV did come in here, and it does see that there are 2 assimilators, which is actually quite the standard opener for Protoss. But our first choice of unit from ColdScars, excuse me, not from ColdScars, wow, from Fiend, is actually going to be a Stalker. And all he's going to have to do in the near future is basically buy time by pulling 1 or 2 probes. I think that was a little extreme what we just saw him do there, but I mean, he essentially lost some mining time. What you just have to do is wait and see which one's going to take damage first and then pull that one away. But then again, I do not blame him for being overtly cautious, because probes, it's hardest to resaturate if you're Protoss, as opposed to, say, Terran or Zerg, because Terran can just get mules out while they're building SCVs, and that'll buy them, essentially 300 seconds of mining time? No, 300, it'll get them 300 minerals, but, like, the lifespan of a mule, I forget how long it actually is. Now, we do have ColdScars going ahead and opting to directly throw down that, second command center at the natural. And he's going to follow this up with a factory. This can lead into, say, Hellbat drops. But the question is he going to have the gas income to support that? I don't think we're going to see Hellbat drops. Could possibly be Widow Mines, 75 minerals, 25 gas. And, of course, the natural is about to finish up for toss, and that's this little guy, the sentry, kind of in some trouble there, just a little bit. The natural, and combat drugs going down on that Reaper. Will it get away? No, it won't. So I think that's actually the first loss of the game. First blood goes to MYsTiCFiEnD. Alright, and it looks like this is going to be a definitive bio follow-up because, of course, once you have a bunker full of Marines... I'm going to say that in the context of TVP, Making an entire bunker full of Marines is a huge investment. But making even more Marines to follow that up, that's really something else. It could be a bio follow-up, but it's still entirely possible that we're going to see, say, you know, a mech follow-up, a mech transition, something of that nature. So this is rather interesting, what we see so far. Widow Mines are in the makes. And an engineering bay is also on the way. So I'm leaning just a little bit more towards the bio play. The engineering bay could be just in case his opponent is going to crank out some Stargate units, which at this stage it would appear is not the case. Of course, oracles perform very poorly versus what's the word I'm looking for? Missile turrets. Yeah, 1 for 1. I don't know how many oracles it would actually take to take down a single missile turret without repairs, but there it is. The observer catches on to just what's up here. He sees that the medevac is moving out, so how is he going to react to this? So we have anti-air units being warped in right now, and it looks like maybe, just maybe, we're going to see some kind of a, I don't know, a split-ish push, if you will. Okay, so here's the medevac. Behind this, what is going down? We have +1 attacks, and a tech lab being tacked on somewhere. The question is, where is it? But, oh, wait a minute. Oh my god, this could be bad. Alright, so the Widow Mine's kind of racing forward. They're going to try and do some damage. Ouch! One connects with the mothership core, and the second one connects with the mothership core. Were there any worker losses? None whatsoever. So, of course, we have the mothership core being lost, but that's nowhere near the amount of resources that we just saw Terran lose. And there it is, the definitive mech bio transition. Stim and research. Yeah, those Marines and their little mechanical suits like that, so overpowered. Alright. Now we do have a second medevac on the way, and it's full of 4 Hellions this time around. I'm thinking, you know, this without say Hellbats, this has a lot of potential to do damage simply due to the fact that I believe one sweep from 4 what's the word I'm looking for? From 4 Hellions, as long as they all connect and hit the same mark, then they're gonna get worker kills. But the stalkers are chasing down that medevac. It looks like, wow, greedy. MYsTiCFiEnD is going for the 3rd already. Okay, so here we go. Getting ready to fill up another bunker. I'm a little confused. Why exactly does ColdScars have this second bunker up? Well, he's not quite. I mean, he did see a small bioforce moving out, so I'm thinking perhaps that he's thinking that there could be an offensive coming his way, but finally we see that medevac kind of getting rerouted over here, but it's just going to stick around over here in this area, lower right-hand corner for now. This Marine kind of set up here to act as a spot, if you will. I kind of like that idea, because this map has no Xel'Naga watchtowers, and it actually makes it much more difficult for, I want to say, it makes it especially difficult for Zerg and Protoss, but look at what we have in research now. Oh my god. I think we're going to see a lot of Marauders in production in the near future. Like, we have the potential for that, certainly. But then again, this is also a lot of potential for Marines. Looks like one of those gases is just relatively young for our Terran. And there's the armory going down now for ColdScars. I believe this will allow him to get tier 2 tech out. And oh my god, the medevac! It almost got targeted. It almost got targeted down. It did get targeted down with 1 extra Hellion left inside it. Speaking of the Hellions there, I don't think they're actually... They finally got 2 probe kills, and that's about it. But I'm a little curious, does our Terran actually know about this 3rd now? He does not. This is what's going to put him so far behind, really. Income right now has just been kind of just gas heavy on that 3rd, but it was started so much sooner for Terran, or excuse me, for Protoss than it was for Terran. This has not been morphed into an orbital command yet, so I'm thinking it's going to be turned into a planetary fortress. Alright, so combat shield's just about to finish up, and we have +2 going down along with +1 armor. And with that, ColdScars is moving out, ready to put on some hurt. But here we do have a couple of Colossi and a few sentries with full force fields on them. I think if we can see those beautiful force fields go down, we'll see our Protoss in a winning position. I can't say it enough. I've seen so many games where We've had Protosses that have had sentries with full energy on them, and never once have they thrown down a force field when there are no massive units that can actually counter that. Zealot gets warped in here just as that pylon gets taken down, but so that just means it doesn't finish making itself, if that makes sense. It doesn't finish warping in. Scan on top of the bio army here, just making sure that, you know, there's no observer chasing them. But I'm a little curious, where exactly was that second scan going down at? That's what's really got my, you know, my curiosity peaked. Wow, pinked. Yeah, pinkied. Observer coming down here, just getting a glimpse of what is up with this composition, what is in this composition, so on and so forth. He's just trailing behind it. You can see Marines, Marauders, and Hellbats. So he's got to find a way to get that AoE out and to really find a way to destroy his opponent. Of course, Protoss takes another scan and cleverly moves his army so that the correct composition cannot be thoroughly scouted. I want to say that at this stage it would be alright to see MYsTiCFiEnD go ahead and throw down some photon cannons in the main and the natural. Just as I say that, he's doing that at the main, trying to protect that tech, and he's doing it at the natural as well. If he were to do that, I would say super efficiently, then we would see him in a position where, you know, he could just move out and leave it, you know, leave it static to deal with whatever drops come his way. The only problem is they're only so useful at any given point in the game, and versus Hellbats, I feel they would be virtually useless with medevac sealing them, especially given the amount of damage they do. Come on, just wait. What? I can't. Oh, what is this? This is what I get for using ESL's observer interface. Natural, main, third. We do have a Marine coming in here. Gets cooked as soon as he steps into the third. I feel as though there are too many probes on the third, so that means we're going to see a fourth getting taken. And just as I say that, it gets thrown down. Yes, this is the only reason why a Protoss will purposely oversaturate, because of course their units are so expensive and they don't have money to waste on probes and oversaturation. ColdScars is moving out with a 200-200 army, but I think this is going to be a little bit dangerous for him. He does have Vikings, those will deal adequately with the Colossi, but there are a few too many Colossi here for those Vikings, I think. Yeah, there's 8 Vikings, and now we have Storms coming in. Along with a Dark Shrine going down behind this, we're just waiting, you know, how exactly are we going to see MYsTiCFiEnD engage this? How exactly are we going to see ColdScars engage this? There's, like, no EMPs here. That's going to make it extremely difficult, and now we have, you know, again, full force fields on these sentries, and they're just racing forward, but they're not throwing them down. Finally, they see some getting thrown down, and now we see the entire army of ColdScars melting right in front of MYsTiCFiEnd's Colossi. He says, I'm not gonna take it. And he does some damage. Now, there is one medevac that did pick up. It's gonna... What is it gonna do here? I'm a little confused. That is a lot of remaining army supply on MYsTiCFiEnD. Just look at that. And behind that, he's way ahead of his opponent in terms of resource income. I think we're going to see this game end in the near future, guys. Like, you know, this could be the beginning of the end. What we need to see from ColdScars is essentially some ghosts. He doesn't have them. Does he even have... Does he even have the tech to put ghosts out? No, he doesn't. He doesn't have a Ghost Academy. Behind this, look at his income. He never took the gases on his third. If he did, that would probably be a different story. And now we have Protoss moving into that little area just as his supply is slowly rising, and these High Templar are moving into positions where they can throw storms on anything that comes in to intercept his own army. And if he throws down the storms relatively soon, he throws them down on the Vikings. Excellent move with this bio ball that's chasing him down right now. I don't know. Colossi are being chased down by the Vikings. I think that's a worthy trade in this position. But the question is, how is our Protoss going to follow it up? He doesn't have any Colossi in production. Question is, does he have enough AoE in the form of, say, High Templar and possible Colossi, or not Colossi, Archon follow-ups? Meanwhile, we're just now seeing Blink going into production, into research for our Protoss, and it looks like a couple of SCVs got pulled along for the ride. Yeah, they're like, hey, we were supposed to be given C-14 Gauss rifles. What's with that, guys? Stin going down now. Colossi falls, but the storms here are just too great for the Terran army to handle. Beautiful storms at that. Still no Ghost Academy, but it looks like I think I want to say that, you know, just maybe ColdScars has an opportunity to do some real damage here. but it's going to depend on his micro, heavily on his micro. High Templar are useless, essentially, once all of their storms are gone, and we still have plenty of storms left. Again, that's why I say it depends so much on the micro, and that's why he's splitting his Marines and Marauders so well. But then again, he's a 3-base Terran against a 4-base Protoss that has essentially 3.5 base income. Checking out the probe here, it does, I guess, finally catch on to the fact that the third was in a bit of trouble. +3 finishing up for Terran, or excuse me, for Protoss, and +3 just starting for, that would be attacks for Terran, just finishing up as well. +3 armor starting as well for Protoss. Kind of confusing there. Archons are going down now as well. Just morphing from the leftover High Templar. This Colossus comes in from behind. You know, I think MYsTiCFiEnD just realizes, okay, well, my Terran opponent didn't have gases at the third. What exactly is he trying to do? Warp Prism, I guess, came in here and tried to do some harass in the background. Didn't really work out, but if he was to do this at the third, it would weave such a golden opportunity of attack for him. Meanwhile, we have MYsTiCFiEnD trying to set up a surround, and it looks like a beautiful surround it will be, with the High Templar in back, getting ready to throw down their storms. How is this going to pan out? Look at this, the army approaching from both angles. I think this is going to be the end, guys. ColdScars is just getting wrapped the hell up. And right now he just doesn't have any way to deal with all of this AoE. So many storms left over on those High Templar, the Colossi. One did just fall, but I mean, again, I just don't think... There we go. I think behind that, he threw down the GG. No, he didn't even throw down a GG. He just left the game. Kind of in a bad mood, you know, on a losing streak, but still relatively strong player. I mean, he did face Idra on the ladder. That's talking about just MMR, guys, not, you know, not tournament performances or anything like that. I just wish I knew more about the SCA clan. Anyway, guys, this has been Breaker. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.